Holy shit. I love living here, but God, it's so expensive. Yeah, I'm not even gonna tell you how much money I just spent in this past like hour. Just doing like errands. Just doing errands. It's crazy. Like it's beautiful living here, but man, is it expensive. You know, it's crazy. I mean, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be a whiny guy because I'm very lucky and blessed to live in a place like this. But yeah, I don't know how I'm surviving. I mean, I am, and but man, is it crazy. I don't know how people with families do it. That's why meth is so big here, and it's funny because it's not just people like your regular people you'd assume would be doing it. Like all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life are into it. I remember going downtown with a friend of mine who was visiting a guy that he was, I forget what company he worked for. I wouldn't say what it is anyway, but he was kind of had a good job there because he had a nice office to himself. I remember going in there and him pulling out a coal wood box and with the pipe in it, and he just starts like, you know, blowing smoke. I don't smoke, so you know, I didn't do any, but this guy you'd never imagine, like, and he didn't like even make a deal out of it, like, hey guys, I'm gonna do. He just pulled it out like in conversation, and I was talking to my friend about it after. She's like, oh yeah, it's rampant use here. You know, he knew some guys that worked that had construction companies, like or a landscaping guy too that always had it, because you figure you've got a couple kids and you've got to pretty much just work around the clock. Things are so expensive here, it's fucking unbelievable. Like just going for like a walk in the neighborhood, it used to be like, oh, you should probably take 20 looks with me, you know, in case you know, I need to buy a drink or something. That's upgraded to $50 just walking around money. It's insane. Yeah, I can't even get into it, like how much is spent here. And that's why it's like, it's not confusing. I know why the lovely American CIA did a bait and switch over the lockdowns. They forced a lot of the islanders off the island, like people that lived here generationally. Honolulu too, Native Hawaiians got moved out. Las Vegas, you know, you see the stories. I've been putting them up here for a while. I did a whole report. I did a whole multi-video series on why this was happening, and it ties into crime, the 42% crime increase series. And if they're telling us there's been a 42% increase in crime, I can only imagine what it is. And that's not crime like, you know, someone stealing a bike. It's violent crime, like that involves someone being attacked. You know, 42%. That's a significant jump. You know, when I first moved here, one of the things that I liked about it, and that was talked about quite a bit, was that it was one of the safest cities in America. And it was crazy, especially when used to where I'm living on the mainland as an artiste. I've always lived in kind of shady neighborhoods because you don't make much money. Not only do you not make much money working in the arts, it's funny to be able to call what I used to do working in the arts, but it costs you money. You know, I've blown credit cards on tours and stuff, or tours like three dates in a row, two canceled gigs, and some we just didn't go to. If that constitutes touring, but yeah, it costs money. So I've always lived in kind of shitty areas, but so when I moved here, it was such a relief to live somewhere where I don't have to have that extra security radar on. You know, it's mostly like a lot of families, a lot of older people. And the thing is, if the Pacific Islanders, whether they're Samoan or Filipino or people that have lived here for, you know, generationally, they're not big even though there are bad characters in that group and in every group, they're not the kind of people that we have here now. You know, the Islanders wouldn't go into a store and put a gun in an old woman's face because they probably know the lady that works there. They probably have some kind of relation to it, and plus they respect relation to her. You know, every family. I'm not saying every Islander knows every Islander, but there was more of a community. You know, and this was their home, and they're not going to be disrespectful of it. These new guys that they imported from Philly and Chicago, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. We've seen an uptick in those kind of robberies. We had one recently where it hit 6 places in one night. Because you can coordinate that stuff here, even if you have the intelligence of a potato, which a lot of these guys do. So it's easy to pull off just because everything's so close together. And the police are not used to responding to that type of shit. We just didn't have that type of stuff going on here like we do now. All this rise in violent crime mysteriously coincided with the influx of new residents replacing the Islanders who were pushed out because they couldn't afford to live here anymore. And you think, well, how did these people from the mainland afford to move here? I'm doing like a whole mini summary of my whole 42% series. Basically, they went to the landowners, homeowners, landlords, and said, "Hey, right now we're in an emergency situation because when a state of emergency is declared in a state, all kinds of laws don't apply and all kinds of wacky stuff can happen." And they had seminars where they would take in these people, like you could go to, and then explain, hey, basically what you're going to do, if you'd like, you could get paid, you know, nothing from people that don't have any money because the state purposely withheld COVID funds from people. That's a whole separate issue, but they kept it so people couldn't get the money. I'm still owed money. I'm still owed money from the COVID shit. I didn't get my last check. But anyway, what they did is they said, hey, if you can convert your property into low-income housing, we'll put the bill for you. So you can either get no money, or you don't have to zone for low-income housing. It's emergency, state emergency. You can do all kinds of wacky shit. So basically, a lot of these living spaces became low-income housing, and they brought in people to live in them from the mainland. The only part of this whole puzzle I haven't put together is how these people were approached. Like how did they go to the family living in Chicago and say, hey, you want to live in Hawaii? We're paying for everything anyway, because that's how it is here. Depending on how you're born here, you may be eligible for cradle to the grave care, meaning medical, food, housing, and basically spending money in the form of welfare payments. So it doesn't cost you anything to live. But even so, I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't be like, yeah, we'll go live in Hawaii. They don't even know where Hawaii is. So there must have been some other kind of incentive in place. Like, I will give you, well, it had to be money, And so now, I can't tell you the last time I saw like a young Islander couple or a couple of Samoan dudes walking on. You just don't see it anymore, but you see a lot of these new people from the mainland, looking around at stuff, trying to figure out where they are, asking people, hey, where's this, where's that, And with them, they brought the unfortunate crime of the mainland. They brought it with them. And that's why in one calendar year, we had a 42% increase here in violent crime. Not bike thefts, robberies, assaults, rapes, murders. We've had murders here. We had over a few months ago, we had a hostage kind of situation. It wasn't a hostage. It was a guy they had to close down all the streets. It was a huge scene. They ended up killing the guy. He barricaded himself in. And then within 1 week, there were 2 murders a bunch of kids jumped on and killed one kid, waving at a bus stop at night. And then there was a shooting a couple nights later. This shit did not happen here. But it did once you bring in the right people to do this. There's a whole reason why they wanted these people here too. And that's a whole other separate issue that I've explained before. I have all this stuff together, you know. But for what? But, you know, just who cares? Like, it doesn't do any good to know all this stuff. But it is an interesting thing to kind of learn about, you know, for people who didn't know. And you can see it. I mean, the neighborhood's definitely changed quite a bit. I see things here I didn't see before. People acting out, kind of things that just wouldn't happen before, but they brought the people over to make it happen. Yeah, it sucks. It's not, you know, it used to be awesome here. Now it's like, and I know what it's like because I've lived in bad neighborhoods my whole life. So it's like, I gotta bring that radar back, you know? Yeah, like before, if I was doing a video out here, I'd be standing out there. But now I'm in the safety of this jail. We're all gonna make it. It's all right. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.